loved ones, as always, welcome. Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. And we'll get right into it. Random relationship topic, based on day-to-day life conversation. So I wanted to bring that to the platform and share it. So let's get into it. As always, I thank you all so much for the support and for the engagement, for the likes, for the comments, for the love. I appreciate you so much. You give me that love, I'll continue to give it back. And I thank you so much. I trust that everyone is doing well. All right. And I'm feeling blessed and grateful. All right. Before jumping into this relationship topic, man, I am not a clinical professional. I'm not a psychoanalyst. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm none of those. I'm just a woman sharing of her experience, sharing of herself and, just looking to be fed and looking to give and receive love in a healthy way, right? Providing a safe space where we can engage without judgment and share information. So that's what it's all about. So we'll get into it. In my humble opinion, all right, friends with benefits situations often become unhealthy, toxic, and they never last. All right. Again, as always, I'm ready to be wrong about this, but we're going to get into it. All right. While perfection is unrealistic to me, we should always be striving to do better, right? But perfection often applies pressure to things and people and situations where it's not needed. It takes the fun out of things. And what would the world be if everything was perfect, right? And I get that. But I am about balance, though. Balance is extremely healthy for me. It is an attainable goal, and it's something that we're able to maintain. You know what I mean? It's not always easy, but it's simple. You understand me? Balance. And to me, friends with benefit situations based on my own personal experience, they don't provide that. And 9.5 times out of 10, somewhere along the line, one of the parties involved is going to end up catching feelings. One of the parties involved is going to end up wanting more, and that's not to necessarily say that that's the man or the woman, or it's not about that. It's not division. It's not about competition. Separation and divide and none of that. This is a community conversation. So definitely feel free to speak your truth down in the comment section, make your contribution, and we'll keep the conversation going. But to me, that's how it always ends up. I can speak for myself personally, where I am now in life, and say that that's never a situation that I would find myself in, just because I know that it doesn't serve me, like the way that I'm wired to work, the type of relationship that I would want to have one day in the future. That type of setup, it doesn't work for me at all. And I'm just of the mindset and understanding that someone's going to end up getting their feelings hurt. It's probably not going to be me, because I already understand how it works. Not to mention, physically intimate connections and relationships can be very deep. You know what I mean? Like, we are exchanging energy. We're creating a bond. We're creating a soul tie. So it's like when you do that, like you create a soul tie and a bond, something that's so deep with someone that you don't have a long-term intention for, that's just problematic. It's a mess. Like, you're asking for trouble, in my opinion. And a lot of times that means that we were allowing, our physical desires to lead us, right? We were allowing just that chemistry and biology to be, the basis of the connection. And that was good enough at the time. But I think over time you come to find out, sometimes people place their expectations onto you and vice versa, right? And that's not necessarily healthy either. Communication is of the utmost importance. And I think when you're in the initial stages of a connection with someone, you should have that talk, you should have that conversation, not to say that you are moving too fast or, you're looking to put pressure on someone, but it is healthy, in my opinion, to say what your goals are, what your plans are, based on how we connect with each other. Where are we looking to take this? I think it's healthy to be self-aware. I think it's a strength to be self-aware and to know that right now I'm not in a place where I'm ready for a long-term or a committed or a monogamous relationship. I think it's extremely healthy to be able to verbalize that to another adult and say, I'm not in a place where I'm ready for that. Some people are built and wired for the possibility of a surface level, just a physical connection with someone. And I'm not judging or saying that that's necessarily good or bad. That's not the purpose of the video. But I do understand that for some people, just the surface level connection works. And other people, you know, require more care. They're a little more high maintenance, if you will. They require more depth. They want a deeper connection. They want more of your energy. They want more of a presence. So it doesn't necessarily work. And while opposites do attract, when you get one party who kind of just wants to have a good time, you know, maybe wants a little companionship here and there, wants to interact a little bit, and then you get another person involved who, you know, they tend to wear their hearts on their sleeve, right? And they were in a place where they, even though they didn't necessarily expect it, they were ready for a long-term relationship if they found the right person. And maybe, you know, they found a lot of those characteristics in the person that they were just in a friends with benefits situation with, and it grew in their mind. You know, they weren't keeping the lines of communication open as time went on. They weren't saying and expressing themselves as to say, I'm feeling you. You know what I mean? I'm feeling you more than I originally anticipated. Do you foresee the possibility of a long-term future for us? Like, people tend not to want to have those conversations, but as a result of that, not having those conversations, a lot of assumptions get made, you know, and then it's like you get that unhealthy situation where one person is in a committed relationship almost, but the other person isn't, because as much as they know they could be moving around, they're not really doing it because they feel like they found what they wanted in this person, but because they're not communicating with each other and they didn't set a realistic, like a benchmark or a baseline for the foundation of their relationship. It's like one person is heavily involved and the other person isn't. And that's just, as far as I'm concerned, a situation that I have no interest in. I wouldn't want to be on either side of that situation, because I don't, you know, I never want to hurt anyone. I don't want to make anyone feel bad, or I don't want to, you know, have someone feeling like I left them out on an island by themselves. And I don't want to be the type of person to, like, you know, put that type of energy out there. And I wouldn't want to feel like I was left out on an island by myself, you know. But like I said, at this place where I'm in my life, I got some experience. I've been around a little bit, so I have an understanding. And I've experienced different type of relationships with different types of people, different mindsets, you know. So I have a better understanding of what it takes to create, you know, a healthy relationship and what it would take to maintain that. And obviously I'm learning. I don't know everything, and I'll never claim to know everything. And that's why I'm here with you, because I want to know more. So share yourself with me, you know, give me your perspective down in the comment section. Would love to hear it. And we'll definitely give you that energy back. And I would like to know too, have you ever found yourself in a friends with benefits situation? Are you currently in one now? And how is it serving you? Is this a situation that you would possibly, you know, want to see go further? You know, did it catch you off guard? Was it just a situation where it was initially supposed to be casual, but then you all kind of, you know, leaned into each other and grew into each other, and you found yourself in a space where you both mutually decided that you know, wanted to be exclusive? Were you in a situation where it began as a friends with benefits thing, but then one or the other party ended up having to break it off because someone began to get more invested, you know? So I definitely want to hear that. And let's have that conversation down in the comment section, right? I think it's important, man. Communications in any relationship, whether it's business, professional, personal, romantic, whatever the case may be, communication throughout, not even just in the initial or at the end, but all throughout the relationship is important, because people change, man. People's feelings change, people's aspirations and goals change, and desires can change too. And while it is very possible to, like, grow in the same direction with someone, like you can grow together, I feel like when you lack communication and intimate connections, because you take for granted that the other person is supposed to just know, like, sometimes we can grow apart from people. Sometimes that just happens naturally too, right? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It can be difficult, or it can hurt, because it could cause the downfall, you know, of a relationship, or it can cause a breakup. But I'm always more the mindset, like, I'd rather know now than later. You know what I mean? So communication, definitely keep that intact. But I definitely, you know, like I said, wanted to bring this topic to the channel and get you all's perspective on it. I want to know how you feel about this. But for me personally, I can say these days, man, a friends with benefits relationship wouldn't work for me. And I'm the type of person that I don't need to always unpack every feeling, or I don't feel the need to, like, track down or to explore every feeling. So let me paint you a picture. let's say you're in a public setting, right? You may go to a cocktail party, you may go to a function, you may just be out and about with friends, you could be on your own, you could be at a bar, restaurant, whatever, right? Someone catches your eye, someone catches your eye, you got that eye contact thing going, you kind of feeling each other, you digging each other. And somewhere along the lines, you end up in a space where you're able to have an exchange, you're able to have a conversation with them. Right? You're able to find out their name and learn a little more about them. I'm the type of person that I can walk away from that situation feeling happy and feeling whole about the exchange and never having to explore it, because I'm of an understanding now that not everything has to mean something, and that sometimes that flirty feeling that you had or that exchange that you had was all it was ever supposed to be. Sometimes that's all it was ever supposed to be. See, I feel like in a need to control things, or sometimes just allowing our desires to lead us, we take things further than they ever needed to go. And a lot of times that can cause us some heartbreak or some anguish that we weren't even supposed to experience. We were connected to a person and tied to a person. It wasn't ever even supposed to go that far. I always, look to move through life with an open heart and an open mind. But at the same time, not everything has to mean something. So I constantly remind myself of that. And I'm much more of a go with the flow type of person, while I have my discernment and my boundaries intact, and I am, paying attention to what's going on around me. I definitely got my head on that swivel. You understand me? Healthy exchanges. It's important to be socially healthy as an adult. Like I said, you don't want to miss any opportunities. You don't want to close any doors by being guarded or shut down. But sometimes that exchange at that restaurant is all it was ever supposed to be. Just because you meet someone or you have an interaction with someone or you make someone's acquaintance doesn't mean that they're there for the long term or that you're just supposed to invite them into your life. But I guess, I suppose that's our individual decision to make, as people. So yeah, for me, it's going to be a no. Unapologetic about that. For me, it's going to be a no. As far as the friends and benefits situation, I just feel like it's going to lead to a situation where someone ends up falling. Someone is going to end up in their bag. Someone's going to end up in their feelings. And I like to express this. People are to be experienced. I am to be experienced. You know what I mean? You are to be experienced, and no one can possess you. No one should possess you. And I'm certainly not to be possessed. That's out. It can't happen. It won't happen. Like I said, it dims my light. It stifles me. To be in a situation where I feel like it's a helicopter and I'm being smothered. I don't like to feel smothered. I like my freedom, and I'm a confident woman, and I believe in, everybody having their freedom, to move about as they see fit. When two people are in an agreement as far as a relationship is concerned, that's exactly what it is. We don't have to stress. We don't have to fret. I know what it is. You know what it is. You know the vibes, and we've discussed it. And it doesn't matter what other people may think about it, or, what other people's perspective on your relationship with somebody else. It's about you and that other person. Like I like to say, it's a 2-seat car. Sometimes I'm in the driver's seat. Sometimes I'm in the passenger seat. And vice versa. So that's how I like to keep it. But people aren't to be possessed at all. And while, we will operate, within the confines of the agreed to, boundaries and protocol for the relationship that we in, we want to keep it fun. We want to keep it enjoyable. We want people to have their freedom. I feel the possibility of love and companionship and friendship and growth over time, is increased and is intensified when people feel free and they're, given a safe space to be themselves. It's better. Even if it doesn't necessarily work out, you can find out the truth sooner. You can find out if you're compatible with someone, if you all are giving each other the opportunity to be your authentic selves with each other. It's better. The truth is always better. Because like I said, if you are both interacting with your representatives, it's going to come crashing down because everything comes to light. The truth always comes to light in the end. The facades have to come off. At some point, you got to be ready to love people at their worst and their best, especially if this is going to be a long-term committed relationship that you're in. Right? So creating safe spaces for people to be themselves, communicating, having those conversations, and, you know, understanding that we can't possess one another. It's unhealthy. It's toxic. It's toxic. Insecurity is such a turnoff, you know, and while insecurity is a turnoff, confidence and belief, you know, and having your own life and having your own interests, having your own network of friends, you know, being connected to your own family, like all those things are positive and they're good. And it entices one another, you know what I mean, to want to be in each other's lives. You know, it keeps us connected that way when we have our own things going on and we're not so tapped in and tied into the other person like that. We feel like we can't function on our own. We lose sight of our own priorities, you know, our own goals, our own individual lives, right? People are not to be possessed. So give people the most authentic version of yourself possible. And, you know, let's create, you know, authentic experiences for one another. And then we can make the determination like, hey, I can do this. I could live this life with you. I could do this life with you. Or you may come to a space to find out that you all didn't necessarily align and that you didn't want the same things, you know, over time. And that's okay. We're going to keep it respectful. We're going to keep it classy. Just because you breaking up don't necessarily mean that it has to be a mess like that. We got to be tit for tatting each other. All right. Because when you start tit for tatting, again, that is toxic. And as far as I'm concerned, that means someone else has a hold on you. Someone else has control over you. Right? Because you're taking action based on someone else's action. These aren't necessarily even things that you would ordinarily do. You know, if you were operating in your higher self, you would just remove your energy, heal, and move on. So don't tit for tat. Don't go back and forth, right? And ask yourself, man, I mean, you may already know, but like, is a friends with benefits situation something that you could actually take on? Like, that is something that works for you? Like, is that something you could actually do? Right? So yeah, let's talk about it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, then drop it down in the comment section. Let me know, as always, and I'll be there. You know, send me an email to askbizlifestyle@gmail.com if you have any questions. You know, if you want to recommend a video, you know, feedback, any of that, it's all welcome. And check the About page, get the information off of there, man, and we here. And again, this was just a random topic, you know, that I wanted to discuss. Friends with benefits. You know, so let me know how you feel about it. As always, I thank you for spending time with me and I appreciate you. And we're going to keep the conversations going, man. I enjoy discussing relationships and people. And this is a lifestyle-based channel, so there are no limits, you know, so we can have that conversation. All right. And I believe in you as always, so you be sure to do the same. Until next time, we out.